Hello everyone, we've got news today. Well, actually we got the news yesterday. I was pretty broken up and was unable to record. It's about the babies, Orrin and Orson, Cincere and Classic. It has been determined that they are deceased. Their remains have not been found, but the good news is that Trezell and Jaqueline have both been arrested. They are currently in jail with no bond. They will be arraigned tomorrow. They are each being charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, 2 counts of child abuse, and they're also being charged with making a false police report.
According to California law, a second-degree murder charge alleges a killing that is intentional but not premeditated, or a killing caused by reckless disregard for human life. The act typically does not have any kind of premeditation and may only have been intended to cause harm rather than death. It's punishable by a prison term of 15 years to life.
During a press conference this morning, it was learned that law enforcement has known since the first week that the boys were reported missing that they were no longer alive, and that it was likely that they had not been alive for some time. We now know that the boys have not been alive since September of 2020. They have evidence of some sort, although they do not have the boys' remains.
The grand jury could not have returned murder indictments if there was not proof that the boys are dead.
I hope that either Trezell or Jaqueline will turn on each other and that we'll get the full story. I also hope that they will end up telling us where Orrin and Orson are. My heart goes out to their biological parents. Their children were born as Cincere and Classic, and their children were stolen from them and given to this couple who obviously did not love these boys as they should. These children have lost their lives, and I am outraged that Children's Protective Services took these children from their biological families, gave them to Trezell and Jaqueline, allowed an adoption without notification of the biological parents, and it resulted in these children being murdered. It is heartbreaking and maddening. They need reform. I am heartened to know that the biological family has plans to sue Kern County. I know that won't bring the babies back, but maybe it will bring about change so this doesn't happen to any other babies.
Now we got our answers, and it is a lot of weight off our shoulder because now we know who did it.
Meanwhile, at the press conference, we learned that their DA is incredibly professional, did not let slip anything that is not allowed to be revealed at this point before the trial. And let me look at my notes here. We learned that Trezell and Jaqueline are each looking at 30 to life for the 2 counts of murder if they're convicted, plus 12 years for the child abuse charges.
Trezell and Jacqueline West were indicted by the Kern County grand jury. Little is known about those grand jury proceedings, but that's intentional. In high-profile cases, suspects can run, threaten witnesses, or put those around them in danger. In these situations, prosecutors turn to the grand jury. They meet in secret. Behind closed doors and tinted bus windows, they listen, investigate, deliberate. And ultimately, members of a grand jury have the power to bring an indictment, accusing someone of a crime.
It's a very good tool for the district attorney to go to in certain cases where they don't want to go public yet. They don't want to disclose who's under investigation.
The Kern County grand jury is made up of 19 volunteers from the community. It's rarely used. Most of the time, prosecutors file charges directly, leading to a public preliminary hearing. But a grand jury's proceedings, when they do happen, are private. Witnesses can testify without fear of retaliation, and prosecutors can avoid tipping a defendant ready to flee the county.
If you're one being investigated, the grand jury doesn't have to even tell you you're being investigated. Sometimes it can be rather dangerous. If someone's under investigation, they can run away or hurt the witnesses.
Defense attorneys aren't present at grand jury proceedings. Their only information comes from the prosecution.
Now, with the boys dying 3 months prior to being reported missing, that brings their time of death to sometime in September. And unless I'm horribly wrong on this, I believe that means that was while the family was living in Bakersfield. And it kind of brings... I'm going to go over the timeline and stuff and update this, but I believe that means the boys were deceased when Trezell told the lady involved with his real estate loan for the house in California City, when he said that he only had 4 children. Apparently, he only had 4 children. We still don't know where Orrin and Orson are, Classic and Cincere. Let's pray that these monsters have at least a little bit of heart and say where the babies are so they can be brought home. The DA said she cannot comment on whether there are going to be any other arrests in this case.
Biological cousin to the West brothers, Rosanna Wills, made her emotions clear just minutes after hearing news of the charges filed against 35-year-old adoptive father Trezell West.
And now the truth is out. You know what I mean? Now the truth is out, and it's just the beginning of a long journey of getting justice. But we will get justice and hold every last one of them accountable.
I have a bad feeling about Trezell's family, though, so I wouldn't be surprised if there are, like after the fact or something like that, arrests.
Immediately after Orrin and Orson went missing in 2020, authorities seized the other 4 boys living with the Wests. Since then, they've been in custody of the county, and the county's suing Trezell and Jacqueline for child support. The suit says they have a monthly gross income of about $2,000, but it doesn't name the source of that income.
Their other 4 children are currently safe. It turns out that they were never returned to the custody of Trezell and Jacqueline. They are still in the care of Child Protective Services, and Kern County is suing Trezell and Jacqueline for child support. Apparently, they have a monthly income of $2,000 a month, but I don't know where that's coming from. Their arraignment is tomorrow. That would be Thursday. Unfortunately, it sounds like the biological family of Cincere and Classic learned about their deaths by hearing about the arrests and the charges on the news.
Both are charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, 2 counts of willful cruelty to a child, and falsely reporting an emergency. About the time the grand jury was returning its indictment Tuesday afternoon, 17 News tracked Trezell West to the tiny post office in the community of Edison, southeast of Bakersfield. In the nearby convenience store, West gave a false name to us, but said he knew the West family, and it was Trezell West. A customer overheard the conversation, and when West drove away in an RV, the customer followed him and snapped a cell phone picture. The customer posted the RV photo on a local Facebook page where it received dozens of comments and shares before it was removed. Hours later, that RV was recovered near Highway 58 and Enos Lane, about 17 miles west of Bakersfield.
And while the DA won't say how they located Trezell and Jacqueline, it sounds like it was a tip from somebody. Thank you, whoever you are. And they managed to arrest Trezell and Jacqueline about 17 miles west of Bakersfield in that RV. And the 2 of them are in jail. Thank you. Let's pray that these babies get justice soon, and that Trezell or Jacqueline does the right thing and lets them know where the babies can be found so they can be brought home. Thank you for watching.